Hello and welcome to Verbling. Hi there, I'm T. Oakley once again. And once again, it is time for idioms class. Okay, in today's idiom class, we are going to be learning some common idioms which are used to to give comparisons between two things, to compare things. Uh, as usual, we'll take turns. Students will take turns doing some exercises, and as we work our way through these exercises, learning the idioms, I'll do my best to try to think of other related idioms as well as to try to explain any situational or circumstantial use of the idioms. Sometimes you have things like first, second, third person usage of idioms. You know, you'd never use this in the first person, for example. This happens. Also, you'd use this to talk about family, but you'd never use it to talk about business. Those kinds of things. I'll try to clarify. And please, if you have a question or you know an idiom that you think is similar, you want to ask me about as we are going along and discussing, please do do ask. Or if you want to share another idiom from your own language, that would be great as well. Okay, let me just say hello, do a little microphone check, and we'll get started. Welcome back, Heidi.
Hello, nice to see you again. Actually, I don't like idioms.
You don't? Why?
However, I learned a lot, but I can't remember.
Ah, that's why. Okay.
Yeah, there are a lot of get.
I love idioms and simile. I love them because I love the really sarcastic, ironic, silly ones.
In Japan, there are a lot of idioms. I can remember.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Different culture.
Yeah. Okay. Rebecca's with us again. Hey, Rebecca.
Hello again. I'm here.
You are. Okay. And so is Anatoly. Anatoly, always a pleasure. How are you, sir?
Hello, I'm fine, thank you. Today is a walk-off day for me because last day of before New Year.
That's right. I'm after today. I'm not going to talk to you for the rest of the year, Anatoly. I swear. Okay. Okay. All right. Let me screen share my material here, and we'll get started. Okie doke. The odd one out. All right. Okay. All right. Fill in the following idiomatic expressions in the sentences below. Straightforward, fill in the blank, read the sentence, do your best to compare. Now, we've got them grouped to try to help you out a little bit. The first column here, the meanings, it's used to describe similar things. In the second column here, we're talking about there's a difference. All right, the first one, these things means these things are very similar. It means these things are very different. Okay, let's give it a try. Heidi, number one.
Number one. All my brothers and sisters went to university, but I decided to leave school and get a job. But I'm far cry from one out, one of a kind, poles apart, a world different. I'm the odd one out.
Excellent. Yeah, that's it. You got it. I'm the odd one out. Of course, okay, we have a statement, and then we have but to show a contrast, so we know that this is going to be different. An idiom that means different. I'm the odd one out. The one that doesn't fit in with the group is the idea. Sometimes we play the game, the odd one out here on Verbling. It's a little game class I like to do where we pick 4 words and we try to figure out which one is different than the other 3 words. The odd one out, the one that doesn't belong in the group. Yeah, that's it. Okay. Rebecca, number 2.
Number 2, I would say that the cost of living in London is in the same boat the spirit image on a part with carbon dioxide. Well, I have no idea, so I'm going to give a guess, and is letter G a word of difference? No,
Well,
doesn't. No.
no. Since we just have blank and then Paris, we need some kind of
Connection with Paris, yes.
Yeah, right.
In the same, no, the split image on a par with Paris.
There you go.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is actually true or this is completely wrong. I have no idea, but this is the one that helps us connect.
London is too expensive, really expensive, and for I heard Paris is too. So I think this means the same on a par with. They are both.
That's right. It means the same, and I guess it is true. I have also heard that they're both very expensive. All right. Yeah, on a par with. What is, Rebecca, let's talk about par, because it's an important word in English. It's used a lot in a lot of different idioms and expressions. What is par?
Par, well, it's when there are two parts, you know?
Yeah, well, no, not really. Do you play golf?
No, never ever, no.
Ah, okay, well, then there you go. All right, let's talk golf for a second. In the game of golf, you have 18 holes. Some holes you should get the ball in 3 strokes, very short holes, so that it's a par 3. Very average ones, maybe 4 strokes. 4 hits of the ball. You're supposed to get the ball into the hole. That's a par 4 hole. A very long hole would be a par 5 hole. You're supposedly supposed to hit the ball 5 times and put it in the hole. If you do that, then you get par for that hole. All right, it's equal to what is expected. Like on a par with, it's equal London and Paris. So there's a lot of expressions that use the word par, or it's used to show equal to expected, the whole idea. Okay, it all stems from the whole idea of par in golf being equal to, equal to, in comparison with here, equal to each other, or a lot of other idioms or expressions equal to what's expected. For example, if I say that's par for the course, that's par for the course. Well, definite allusion there to golf. If I say that's par for the course, that means that's exactly what I expect. Oh, John came to the party at 7 o'clock. By 8 o'clock, he was drunk, naked, and dancing on a table. Oh, that's par for the course. That's what I expect from John. All right. Totally.
That's another idiom.
That's another totally. Yes, different idiom, but kind of related because it is kind of comparing. That's what I expect from John. I'm comparing what I expect to what happened. Well, that's par for the course. So it is related. So yeah, this whole idea of par is used a lot to talk about equal or similar. Okay, anyway. Anatoly, let's try number 3.
It's not just you who's worried about losing your job. We're all. in the same boat.
Excellent. You are correct. We're all in the same boat, meaning to say what, Anatoly?
We have similar
That's it.
problems.
We're all in the same situation, the same position, similar problems. Yep. Very common expression. All right, and it's definitely problem. It's definitely negative. You don't, oh, you won $1 million in the lottery. I won $1 million in the lottery. We're in the same boat. You would never say that. It's not a problem. It's a good thing. Right. Okay. Ken has joined us. Hi, Ken.
Yes, hello.
I'm going to throw you right in. You're right on time. It's your turn. Number 4.
Okay. There's a blank between visiting a country and actually living there. There is a world of difference.
Very good. Excellent. Yeah, I thought you were going to get it because you said there is yeah, you're right. It has to be kind of. All right, there's a world of difference. Do you agree with this statement?
I think so, yes.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah. Okay, meaning very different. A world of difference, a big difference. Okay, very good. All right. Heidi, number 5.
I love my uncle. He's an eccentric. I don't know anybody quite like him. He's he's 6'1" and half a dozen of others.
No. Okay, he's eccentric. Don't know anybody like him, so he's not similar to anybody. He's different.
Different. So at first I thought the word of different, but it's different. So I got confused.
Okay. So which one here in the different?
Apart?
He pulls apart. That's funny, and I'll explain why in a minute. But no, that's not the right answer.
Maybe it's a noun.
Well, kind of. It's a noun phrase.
Noun too.
Kind of.
Not carbon copy and
No.
One of the kind. No, I can't find it.
Yeah. Yeah.
From.
He is one of a kind.
One of a kind.
He's unique. You don't know anybody like him. He's one of a kind. He's different than everybody else. He's one of a kind. Unique, meaning unique. Straight up. Okay. It would be very strange. I kind of laughed when you said pulls apart. And let me explain why. Because pulls apart is used to compare two different things. They're pulls apart, like the North Pole and the South Pole. Very far apart, very different. But you'd be talking about two things. If you're talking about one person being poles apart, it kind of sounds like do you know what bipolar is, Heidi?
Yes, disease.
Yeah, it's kind of a disease which affects your...
Yeah, sometimes very cheerful, sometimes very nervous.
Right. So exactly. So right. So that's what I was thinking when you use that to describe his uncle. He's poles apart. It's like saying he's bipolar. Oh my goodness. He's got some serious problems. That's the first thing that popped in my head. We don't actually say that about a person, all right? But I thought of that instantly when you said it. All right. The other weird word in here, Heidi, what is eccentric?
Eccentric. Not normal feeling.
Not normal. Can you give me an example? Who's a person Who's eccentric?
Oh, okay. Trump. Donald Trump.
I knew you were going to say that because we were talking about the Donald earlier. And that's exactly who I was thinking of. Yeah, Donald's is pretty eccentric, I would have to say. Maybe Michael Jackson was eccentric. Yeah. All right. A little bit crazy, very different from other people, doesn't act the same way as other people. Yeah. Okay, very good. I think the Donald is one of a kind. Yeah. All right, Rebecca, number 6.
Number 6. Miguel and Thank you. Miguel and I are good friends, but when it comes to politics, we are well, that means something different. So
Yeah.
poles apart. Yeah.
Okay, two different people. So comparing two different things. Yeah. Right. That's when we use poles apart. Yep, we're poles apart when it comes to politics. Okay. Their opinions are almost exactly. In fact, we do say the collocation polar opposites. We might use this phrase to compare two things which are very, very different, like exactly the opposite different. Oh, they're polar opposites. They're completely the opposite. Yeah. Rebecca, this name is, just so you know, for future reference, is Nigel. It's a J sound. Nigel.
Which one?
The name here.
Nigel. Okay, Nigel. I never heard it. Okay. Nigel and I. Okay.
Yeah.
It's American name.
More British, actually.
Okay.
We're only making plans for Nigel.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. What is that song? That's a song from my distant, distant past. I can't remember who did that song. Great song, though. All right. Sorry. Anatoly, number 7.
Okay. Don't bother going to see the new Bond film. It's virtually blank of the last one. Maybe carbon copy.
Yeah. Meaning, of course, the idea being, Anatoly, what's the idea?
Very similar.
Extremely similar, right. What's a carbon copy, literally?
It is from the same stuff, material.
Yeah. You have a piece of carbon paper. When you write on it, whatever you write goes through the carbon paper and copies onto the paper below it. That's a carbon copy. So it's exactly the same. Right. Okay, number 8. Ken.
So here you are living in a luxury flat looking out at Buckingham Palace. It's blank the slum of Liverpool. It's a far cry from.
Okay, very different. Okay, again, us comparing two different things. Pretty good example here how it would be used. All right, you're living in a luxury flat. It's a far cry from the slums of Liverpool. Often we use this to discuss wealth and poverty. It's very common. And whatever reflections of that wealth or poverty, like a really crappy car compared to a brand new car, or a really great job compared to a bad job, or things like that we often use. Well, that's a far cry from my old apartment. That's a far cry from my old job. All right. Heidi, number 9.
I've just met David. brother. He's the spitting image of that guy who reads the 6 o'clock news on TV.
It is. His brother does read the 6 o'clock news. Okay. The spitting image. All right. The idea being,
Very similar to each other.
yeah, they appearance, in appearance, spitting image. We use.
Two
Sorry.
The
Two peas in a pod.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Yes. Two peas in a pod. We can use to compare two people appearance, yes, or two peas in a pod. We can actually use this to say that they're very alike in personality as well. Spitting image is specifically physical appearance. Two peas in a pod can be both. Two peas in a pod can also be used. It's often used. Well, I guess that's personality. Like two friends that are never apart. They're always together. I guess that to some degree that's personality, but I might say they're like two peas in a pod. You can't separate them. They're always together. Yeah. Spitting image, definitely about physical appearance. I've tried to figure out what the etymology was, what the history was behind this expression, and I've read like 18 different things. Nobody really knows. Maybe it used to be splitting image. Yeah, who knows? But anyway, there it is. All right, Rebecca, number 10.
Number 10. Do you want to eat now and work later, or do a bit of work then eat? Oh, I don't care. It's what? It's 6 of one and half a dozen of I don't know.
That's it.
Really?
Yep. Well,
It's
okay.
6 of one and half a dozen of the other. It's 50-50.
Yeah, well, it's the same. It's very similar to the another expression. It's all the same to me. Meaning I don't care. They're equal. They're the same thing. 6 is half a dozen. A dozen is 12. So half a dozen is 6. So it's 6 or it's 6. Who cares? What's the difference? It's all the same to me. Absolutely, there's no difference.
Yeah.
Okay, and this is used, actually both of these, all the same to me, or 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. We use these expressions as in the example when somebody gives us a choice and we just don't care, or whatever.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, okay. Okay, should we take the Highway 10 or should we take Highway 22? I don't know, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Highway 10 is longer, but there's no traffic. Highway 22 is a lot shorter, but we're going to have to go through the middle of the city. We'll get there at the same time. I don't know. It's all the same to me. 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. The result is the same. Yeah. Also, okay, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other is used to express the idea that the result will be the same. It also has that kind of idea. Should we do it this way or that way? Doesn't really matter. It's going to end up the same anyway.
Yes.
Okay. Here we go. This time we're going to fill in the blank with verbs. Here, verbs to create an idiom and, make sense out of the sentence. So let's keep it rolling. Anatoly, number 1. Anatoly? Are you there?
Yes, I'm here. I am absolutely fed up. I'm overworked and underpaid. Blank, the club. You are not the only one, you know. Mhm. Then the pet. Mhm. Choose join, stick out. Stick out, maybe.
No. The clues here, you're not the only one you know. This is kind of similar to earlier. You had the idiom, we're in the same boat. Similar idea, but they're used slightly differently. Actually, the idea is pretty
Hello?
much exactly the same, but you use them differently. Uh,
Hello.
no, it would be join the club.
Oh.
Okay. Basically, I'm fed up. I'm here. By the way, this is a very commonly used phrase here, sentence here. Actually, I'm overworked and underpaid. Very common in English for people to complain using exactly this sentence, word for word. Okay, kind of the same idea. Oh, well, you know, we're in the same boat. All right, join the club. So the slight difference is how you use them. Join the club, you say, because the person says they're in a bad situation. They don't realize you're in the same situation. Maybe even a group of you are in the same situation. So you say,
Yes, I understand.
join the club, join us, jump into the boat. Guess
Mm-hmm.
what? We're all in the same boat. No kidding. Join the club. All right, that's the idea. So oh, for example, oh, meet my friend Paul. I brought Paul out because he's really depressed. He just got divorced, and you're introducing Paul to four friends, and the four friends, they just look at each other and they say to Paul, "Well, join the club. We're all divorced too. We know exactly what you're going through." Okay, so sharing some kind of definitely negative thing. It's not going to be positive, just like we're all in the same boat. It's something negative.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I
Yeah,
understand. Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Ken, number two.
Okay, you can't go to a funeral in a cream suit. You'll stick out like a sore thumb.
Okay. Yeah, everyone will notice you. What's a cream suit? Is it a suit made out of milk?
Cream colors.
Oh, okay. That would be fun, though. Suit made
Yeah,
out of whipped cream. Yeah. Okay.
maybe Lady Gaga will. Yeah, wear in the future.
Yeah. And I can imagine where she'll put the cherries, Ken. Okay. Oh, that's a picture that will stick with me the rest of the day. Thank you, Ken. Okay. Yeah, and in that case, Lady Gaga would stick out like a sore thumb. She always does, actually, with her look, her eccentric look. She tends to always stick out like a sore thumb, be highly noticeable. Heidi, number three.
I can't tell the difference between Coke and Pepsi. Can you?
Okay. Well, is this an idiom? This is just, it is what it is. Tell the difference. Okay, it's an idiom because tell means actually speaking, but tell the difference is like thinking. What is the difference? All right. Can you tell the difference between Coke and Pepsi?
No. Yeah.
No. Yeah. I
Maybe
think
Pepsi is a little sweeter than
I
Coke.
think so. Yeah. And Coke has a little bit of a cinnamony taste that Pepsi doesn't have. I think I can tell the difference. I think I can.
But I can't tell it if I needed to taste the brand taste.
Yeah, I know. I was just going to say I wouldn't bet on it. I think I can tell the difference, but I wouldn't bet on it. Well, there's another expression. I wouldn't bet on it. Okay, I'm not sure about telling the difference. All right, Rebecca, number 4.
Number 4. I expect John will will in his father's footsteps and become a lawyer as well. Okay. John will follow.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Follow in his father's footsteps.
Yes.
Nowadays, we can say follow in her mother's footsteps as well, and I think the meaning is fairly obvious. It's basically usually almost always to talk about the son taking on the same occupation as the father. So this is a very specific idiom. It could be used in a more general way. For example, if John's father was a criminal, you might say, I think John will follow in his father's footsteps and end up in jail. Okay. In jail for what? We don't know. So, okay, it can be used in a more general way, but yeah, usually for a specific occupation. Anatoly, number 5.
I am very hot-headed. I lose my temper quite easily. My father's just the same. I suppose I take after him.
Okay. All right. Now earlier we talked about 2 peas in a pod. Take after, just like 2 peas in a pod. Take after can mean physical, okay, physical similarity, or it can mean personality, characteristics, qualities, like that. Okay. Anatoly, who do you take after in your family?
My son. And
Ah,
my father, for me, my father, I suppose I take after my father.
well, there you go. The person you take after has to be older than you, like you're following in their footsteps. Yeah, you can't say you can say my son takes after me, but you cannot say I take after my son. That would not make
Yes.
any sense. Right.
Mhm.
Right. Okay. All right. Number 6, Ken.
Okay, I've looked at the sound system in Philips. One and there seems to be little to tell between them. They are both good value for money in my opinion.
Not little to tell. We already had tell. Tell the difference.
Okay, be little to choose.
Yeah. All
Okay.
right. There seems to be little to choose between them. All right. Uh, okay, they're very similar, I guess, is the idea. I suppose I've heard this, but this isn't really idiomatic. This is pretty direct.
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose. Wouldn't think of this as being any kind of idiom, but all right. A little to choose between them. They're 2 different things. Obviously, that is used in a case where you need to obviously make a choice. Yeah, you might use. I've heard that before when I was working as a recruiter when we were hiring people. Oh, what do you think about candidate A and candidate B? I don't know. There seems to be nothing to choose between them. Okay, so that's how I've heard it. Nothing to choose between them, little to choose between them. They're very, very similar. Okay, so it can be used for people, like people to hire, for example. Okay, all right. Here's a short one. complete the following using these idioms. Okay, just a few in the in dialogue. Fill in the blank. All right, Heidi, back to you. Number one.
I only knew Mary's sister Elizabeth. She led a very quiet life. Oh, you couldn't accuse Mary of that. She was a different kettle of fish. No.
I guess so. Okay. Yeah, that's it. Okay. She was, yeah, because we have she, the pronoun. Yeah, it's got to be. That's the choice they want. Absolutely. She was a different kettle of fish. I have actually never heard this idiom used about people before. I guess I can understand that it would be, and here it is, so it obviously must be, but I've used it to talk. I've heard it used to talk about many other things, actual physical objects, or more than likely situations. Oh, it's just like when you were married to Elizabeth. No, it isn't. It's a completely different kettle of fish. Okay, like a situation. All right. Again, obviously the idea that they're very different. Okay. All right. Let's look at the next one. I was trying to think. There's another idiom that's similar to a different kettle of fish, and I can't. It's not coming to my mind. I thought of it before class, but now I can't remember. All right. Anyway, Rebecca, number two.
Number 2. Has the change of government made any real difference? Absolutely. As different as chalk and cheese.
No.
No, okay. So we are in a whole new ball game now.
Yeah, there you go. We're in a whole new ball game now. All right. Basically, the idiom is used to express the idea that the rules are different. Okay.
The rules, yeah.
Yeah, the rules have changed. Everything has changed a lot, and we've got to do things differently. Is the inference? It's a whole new ball game. We got to, or sometimes it means, oh, we got to start all over again. Sometimes we use the really same meaning. The rules have changed, but the inference is we have to start all over again. Oh, we're in a whole new ball game now. We've got to start from the beginning. Sometimes that's kind of inferred idea. Used a lot in. It can be used to speak generally about anything, but it's used a lot in business, actually. Oh, okay. Since we have a new competitor in the market, we're in a whole new ball game now. Like that. All right, and Anatoly, last one, number 3.
You and your sister are very different characters, aren't you? Completely different as chalk and cheese.
There you go. Okay, just stressing, exaggerating the idea of different as chalk and cheese, to comment about a large difference. Okay, very British. This as different as chalk and cheese. Really, I've never heard this before. Until I started working with a British gentleman. I'd never heard it before. So Americans really don't use this. Americans might say as different as night and day, to a simile that we would use. This structure, by the way, as, adjective, as, whatever, a word or a phrase at the end. It's a comparison between. It's used to exaggerate the adjective. All right. So this is called a simile. And Americans would probably use the simile as different as night and day. Be very common. Not as colorful as chalk and cheese, I suppose, but used for the same purpose, exactly the same. Sometimes we just say, Americans just say, it's night and day. We use this to exaggerate, to express the idea, you know, someone saying, oh, do you think they're the same or do you think they're different? Somebody's unsure about the relationship, and so we use these expressions as an exaggerated way to say, oh, they're very different. Are you kidding me? It's night and day. Oh, here's another one Americans love to use. It's apples and oranges. Apples and oranges. Okay. We like to say if you're comparing two things, that's a little different. Night and day means they're very different. If you're comparing apples to oranges, or sometimes we just say it's apples and oranges, you're comparing two things that really should not be compared together. It doesn't really make sense to compare them to get to each other. Okay, I don't know. I don't know. Comparing how many dogs are hit by cars with how many goldfish are hit by cars, it's kind of apples and oranges. They have no reason to compare those two things. It's kind of ridiculous. Okay. Yeah, anyway. All right, moving on. Literal and non-literal meanings. Okay, here's a little trick. We've talked about a couple of these already. All right, Ken, read number one and.
You cannot get farther apart in the world than the North Pole and South Pole. If you hold very different opinions, we say that your views are poles apart.
Poles apart. Yeah, actually, I can think of two idioms we've looked at. Poles apart, or we can actually say a world of your views are poles apart. Yeah, or there's a world of difference between your views. But yeah, you're right. Poles apart fits the grammar. Yeah, your views are poles apart. That's right. Hopefully, you're not bipolar. All right, Heidi, number two.
If you hurt your thumb and put a bandage on it, it will look very different from your other fingers. So if someone is wearing something very different from what is expected, he might odd one, and how can I say, the odd one out.
Okay, in that case, you'd have to say he might be the odd one out. Yeah. Okay. The odd one out is more often used.
One of a kind?
No. Well, related to your thumb. Where is it? It's gone. What was it? Oh yeah, it's in this section.
Stick out.
Yes. Stick out like a sore thumb.
Like a sore thumb.
Yeah. Okay. It'd be very obvious. You might stick out like a sore thumb. Okay. Odd one out is usually used when we have a group of things that's at first glance they seem very similar. Like the family in the example. Oh, all my brothers and sisters all went to college. I'm the odd one out. I decided to get a job.
Like black sheep?
Well, yeah, well, in that particular example, the black sheep of the family is different than everyone else. Yeah, okay, well, that's another idiom that's good to know. The black sheep in the family is the one that's different than everyone else. People tend to think of this as being a very negative idiom, like you're a criminal and everyone else in your family is wonderful, but it's not. It may be everyone in your family is a criminal, and you're actually a priest or something. Okay. So it just means very different. In that case, yeah, you could say the black sheep of the family in that example. But the, at first glance, like when we play the game, Heidi Odd One Out game, I give you 4 words. Those are similar things. They belong in a group, really. They're all words. Usually I give 4 nouns or 4 adjectives or 4 verbs. So at first glance, they all seem the same. But then, if you remember in the game, we try to pick which one is different for different reasons. So sometimes it's very challenging to see what's different. So they appear to be pretty much the same. That's kind of the idea with odd one out. Somebody who sticks out like a sore thumb does not at first glance appear to be belonging to the group. They stick out like a sore thumb. You instantly notice they're different. Somebody who grabs your attention immediately and you say they're different. So that's kind of the difference there. All right. Rebecca, all right. We talked about this. Number 3.
Number 3. In golf, if you take 4 strokes for a hole which is a part 4, you take the number of strokes which are expected. If someone is at the same level as you, they are on a part with you.
On a par. I'm hearing a T sound. No T.
Yes, sorry. On a par with you.
Yeah, okay. Very good. All right. Okay. All right. By the way, we can say par even to what's expected. We also use the word subpar. Sub meaning under. Okay, like submarine, under the water, sub. Yeah, so subpar is you're not as good as expected, or you're not as good as what we needed. You have subpar performance at work. That's not good. All right. Anatoly, number 4.
Okay. It doesn't mean 12. If there are nothing to choose between 2 options, you can say that the choice is 6 of one and half of a dozen of the other.
Okay. Yeah, you got the right idiom. That's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Yeah, that's it. That's 6 of one and half a dozen of the other. Yep. Okay. Again, the thing being there's nothing to choose, but also the idea that the result will be exactly the same is also in there as well. All right, Ken, number 5.
Many years ago, if you wanted to make 2 copies of a document, you had to type it using 2 sheets of paper with a piece of carbon paper between them. If one thing is identical to another, it's a carbon copy.
Yeah. I slightly object to this, the start of this sentence many years ago, since I myself can remember it. I would like to formally object to that time phrase.
Current kids didn't know even the CD.
Okay.
I heard of that.
Yeah, right. Thank you, Ken. All right. Yeah, okay. All right. Every father wants his son to follow in his footsteps. I don't know about that. Okay. I just thought of another idiom which is kind of related to a different kettle of fish. Kind of, but not exactly. Yeah, well, no. Well, kind of. There's another expression or idiom, that's a horse of a different that's a different kettle of fish. Well, they're pretty similar, actually. Okay, that has different meaning, maybe different meaning than I originally thought. Oh, that's a horse of a different color. Uh, we use the expression "that's a horse of a different color" usually when maybe we misunderstand. Somebody's saying something. Oh, okay. I need $1 million. I need $1 million. No, you can't have $1 million. No, you can't have $1 million. No, you don't understand. If you give me $1 million, I'm going to give you $2 million tomorrow. Oh, well, that's a horse of a different color. That's a different situation. Oh, so you're going to give me back double my money in 24 hours. Well, that's a horse of a different color. Okay, I can lend you $1 million. So we don't understand really what the situation is. When it's explained, we understand that it is a different situation and it's positive. So it's quite specific, this idiom. Oh, that's a horse of a different color. Okay. All right, you come to my house and you want to come in, and I say, I don't know who you are. I'm not letting you in my house. Oh, I'm a good friend of I'm an old friend of your father's. Oh, that's a horse of a different color. Come on in. Like that, where we don't understand a situation, and when we do, it turns out to be a positive. All right, we got 5 more minutes. Quick revision. All right, add the final word. Let's see how many of these we can remember off the tops of our heads. Okay, Heidi, number 1.
We are all in the same boat.
You're all in the same boat. I can think of at least 2 popular songs, maybe 3 that have that idiom. Rebecca, number 2.
Number 2, stick out like a sore. I don't know.
Stick out like a sore thumb.
Thumb.
Stick out like a sore thumb. All right. Be obviously strikingly different.
Yeah, stick out. Yeah, I know the meaning of. Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All righty. Anatoly, number 3.
A different kettle of fish.
Okay. All right. Different kettle of fish. Something totally different. All right. Ken, number 4.
It's different like chalk and cheese.
Okay. A very British statement, but all right. Very different. All right. Heidi, number 5.
Following his father's footsteps.
Yep, that's it. Footsteps. Footsteps, like our little cartoon here. And the son following in the father's footsteps. That's literal. Okay. All right. Probably doing the same career. Usually, it's used to talk about the son taking on the same job. Rebecca, number 6.
Number 6. Carbon. Yeah, carbon was so. I can't remember. Carbon. Difference. Difference? No.
No. It means the same exact thing.
Carbon. No, I can't remember. Yeah, but no.
Okay. Carbon copy.
Copy. Yes, you're right. Copy. Yes.
Okay. Exactly the same. All right.
Yes, you're right.
Okay. And of course, we can use this in an exaggerated way. The material had a good example. Don't bother seeing the new Bond movie. It's a carbon copy of the last movie. Obviously, it's not exactly identical. That's exaggerated, but this is how we use it. Anatoly, number 7.
The odd one out.
Very good. One that is different from the group. And Ken, number 8.
Can't tell the difference.
Okay. Okay. Can't tell the difference. Okay. We also have some expressions which I can't tell his butt from a hole in the ground. You know what that means? Can't tell his butt from his elbow. Ken, do you know what those expressions mean? They're a little different.
No, I just confused.
Okay. Well, all right, I'll just say it. We don't say butt, we say ass. He can't tell his ass from his elbow. All right. Meaning he can't tell the difference between his ass and his elbow because he's stupid. And he doesn't know what he's doing. Either he's stupid, unintelligent, stupid, or he has no idea what he's doing. Often to use to talk about somebody who's incompetent at work or doing a specific job. He has no idea what he's doing. He can't tell his ass from his elbow. Like that. Okay. So we're expressing a difference, but we're actually saying that not to talk about the difference, but to talk about the fact that the person is incompetent. All right. Heidi, number 9.
Join the club.
Join the club. Okay. Heidi, do you have any wild plans for this evening?
Plan this evening?
Do you have any wild and crazy plans for this
Crazy
evening?
plan this evening? No. This evening is
You don't?
end of year.
Yeah, that's right. So
I
are you
joined the club of eating soba noodle.
okay? So you don't have any wild plans. Well, Heidi, join the club. I don't either. There we go. All right. Rebecca, number 10.
Poles apart.
Poles apart. Vastly different. Completely different. Poles apart. Very good. Okay. Our time is up. Thank you very much. Great job today. I've got to go because I've got to start another class. So maybe I'll see you in a couple of minutes. Thank